like a monster compared to you.
Well, do you want me to sit forward?
Yeah. And don't bump the table.
Yeah, I know I do that all the time.
I know.
I can't help it.
Don't open.
I can. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gathering Paracast. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Heidi, and I'm excited for this episode. We weren't here last week, so
Yeah.
we had an unexpected
week off.
rain delay.
Yeah, rain delay.
And so
exactly.
we're back this week, and I'm excited because this is a continuation of what we started talking about in our Paranormal Smorgasbord a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Gathering Paracast.
Yes.
Here we are.
So we're going to talk about UAPs or UFOs in Minnesota.
Yes.
Which there's a lot of stories.
There are a lot of stories. And I came across this a few weeks ago, probably a couple of weeks before the Smorgasbord.
Mm-hmm.
Tim had sent me a couple articles and was like, have you seen this? And I said, no, I haven't. Of course I hadn't. So I was looking at it and I'm like, this is interesting and I want to look into this more. So I started looking into it briefly before the Smorgasbord. And it was about UAPs in Minnesota specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting too, because there's a lot of sightings all the time for all sorts of things. We talk about cryptids, we talk about UFOs, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so this one was specific around UFOs or UAPs. What is it? Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that
that's
UAP
the
now?
new term, right? Instead of UFOs.
Like,
I don't
why?
know.
Anyway,
they're both basically the same.
I guess. Sure. There probably is a difference and I don't know it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had been talking a while back about having like law enforcement giving some
credible
identification to cryptids or doing any kind of reporting, right? Which was interesting because should we treat our police officer as a more credible witness than someone just out? Like I don't think so, but I think we tend to do that.
We do.
I
think we do too.
Part of that too is that they are, I'm sure, very aware that it could be their credibility on the line, which could be a big deal when it comes to
they're
job.
trained, right? So they know. I mean, they're trained in a lot of different things that you and I aren't.
You'd think that they have a lot of training on not just making snap
judgments
and decisions and looking at things analytically. Taking time, the whole de-escalation, you want to keep your cool, whatever.
Let's figure this out.
Think that there's going to be a difference. Anyway, so this, so we have a couple of things that we're going to show you that are from the recent past here in Minnesota. And we won't show them quite yet, but we have a video that came out last year. And it's by the law enforcement officer that took this video. And then I found this article that went a little bit further back. So the video that we're going to show in a few minutes here is from February 2025. And the other article that I found was a series of sightings in October of 2024. So this isn't really that far apart. And it's just a little over a year ago that some of these events happen. So I think it's interesting that, it's in a very short time span.
Yeah.
And that these, like the article that I found, and then this video that came out. And so we'll start with the video. And so we'll show that here in a second. And this was a couple of officers in February 2025 meeting in a parking lot. And it didn't say what they were doing. It sounds like some kind of debriefing after something had gone down. And so they were meeting in this parking lot to go over whatever they were going over. And every one of them witnessed the video that we're going to show. And it made the rounds apparently, but I don't watch like local news anymore because I stream everything. And so I just don't do that. So I didn't see the video. But I guess it made the rounds on the news programs.
I don't remember seeing that either, but
yeah. And it was, it's compelling because apparently they were tracking this for about 45 minutes.
Wow.
And video.
That's a long time for a UFO sighting. Or UAP.
Right. And to track anything. And so the video doesn't go 45 minutes, obviously, but they were able to track it for about 45 minutes heading west from Anoka, which is where this was filmed. or where they had started filming it. So if we can go ahead, Trost, and play the video so people can see
Check
it.
this out here. This is newly released video showing a suspected UFO sighting in Anoka.
This was caught on camera around 1 a.m. in February of last year. The video now being released by the National Archives along with several documents which say at least 3 Anoka Police Department employees reported seeing this, which they believe to be a UFO. Witnesses described it as colorful with, it was about the size of an SUV or a school bus. The records released did not provide a conclusion about what this actually was, what these people actually saw, but it's part of a big batch of documents released related to potential UFOs.
Right?
Interesting.
So I did think it was interesting because they reported it and it went to a national level.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So then it got re-released, so they took it to the authorities. The authorities took it and just went, yeah, we're going to keep that for a while. Yeah. And then they finally released it.
Yep.
But it doesn't, and to film it on a video on your phone.
Yeah.
If it's something that's flying and moving like an airplane or whatever, you're going to see it's an airplane.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
That doesn't look like an airplane. And
no, and it was kind of like different colors. Like they said, you could see the different colors in there.
Totally. Like this in and out pulsing kind of
the
vibe.
Pulsing, the pulsating kind of thing going on.
And if it was moving really fast, I think they would have a hard time tracking it on a cell phone. I think at some point you'd lose it and then you have to come back and they're, I think it's an interesting video.
It's it's a lot clearer than most UFO things I've seen.
Right.
And for 45 minutes, that's a long time.
Right. When I read the article, they tracked it for about 45 minutes and the size of it I don't understand how they can, they had to have had something to give it some depth perception.
Yeah.
So, because how do you know how big something is? Because they say it's the size of a school bus, but how do you know unless you had something similar or in the front or behind? Like if it was in the front of something that you knew the size of, you'd go, okay, it must be this big. If it's behind it, if it's behind a tree, you don't know how far back it is because it could be deceiving.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where they get the size thing from.
I don't know.
Because I didn't see it in the article that showed any kind of depth perception. You know what I mean?
I do.
Like, how do you determine that? But anyway, I thought the video itself was cool.
It was cool. Because you could, like I said, I think that's one of the clearest ones I've seen that actually looks like something.
Right.
It was kind of pulsating and stuff.
Right.
And very vivid purple hue, Trost is saying. Jerry says they should be treated like everyone else. I agree. But for some reason, I think that police officers are treated with a little bit more belief. Credibility than you and I, maybe,
Yes, I agree. They should be treated like everyone else. However, with the training that they are probably, I'm sure, receiving, that they have some, like we talked about before, there's some discernment there that maybe folks that haven't been through this training just don't have.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying people that haven't been through the training don't have it. I'm not saying that at all.
No.
However,
no. However, most of us would be pretty excited, right? And I think, I would be, oh my God, look at that. What is that? And then you just get all worked up because I don't have that training. Not that it would do any good for me anyway.
I don't think so. Probably not. But anyway, it was, so I thought that was a very cool video. So then we find, I find this video or this article that talks about 10 different sightings, and we won't put up the map yet because I had to make a map because I wanted to see, is
where
this a thing? Yeah.
Yep.
So it was 10 different sightings in October of 2024. So it goes from the 2nd of October through the 30th. So it's pretty spread out over the month. Now, were there sightings outside of this? I'm sure there were, but this is quite the cluster.
Yeah.
Just like in searching, I haven't found a cluster like this.
And it's really not that much before this February of 2025.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Months. It's pretty condensed. So I don't know how many sightings there are a year in Minnesota that are reported.
But this is a lot for one.
But this seems like a lot for 1 month, 10 sightings.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting is that some of the sightings are on the same day. So we've got two groups of sightings. One group, they're not near each other on the map, but there's a group. So there's two in that one. And on a different day, on the 26th, there are 4 sightings on that day, and 3 of them are very close together.
I see that. That's
Right.
crazy.
I'm looking at my
I know,
notes
me
that I
too.
have
I'm
there.
looking at your notes. I'm like,
So
oh.
3 of them are very close together. And so anyway, I'm gonna whoops, I just hit the thing that I said don't hit, Stephanie.
Not
Sorry.
the only one.
No, you're not. So I'll read the list of the cities that had someone that claimed to have an experience or a sighting. So the first one, October 2nd, was in Afton. The 4th, Barnum. These are all Minnesota. The 3rd sighting is the 12th in Prior Lake, and the 4th sighting is the 12th in Cold Spring. Then we have the 5th sighting is on the 15th in War Road, and then we have 4 sightings on the 26th: West St. Paul, Buffalo, Sartell, and Elk River.
Which are, within
Except for West St. Paul, the other 3 are pretty close
to
each other.
But I mean, they're all kind of larger metro area.
And then the last sighting is on the 30th in Moose Lake. So, Trost, if you can go ahead and put up my map. Now, I made this, and I apologize if it's not like totally, and I'm not sure if it can be enlarged at all, but because there's a little bit of but it is hard to see because, so the War Road is like the one-off. That's way up at the top.
Up at the Canadian border.
Little red dot up there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I have a key that I put in there. So there are 10 red dots. The majority of them are down in the Twin Cities, southern part of the Twin Cities, though.
Yeah.
The majority are in the southern part of the Twin Cities. And then we have a good collection up by the St. Cloud area. And then we have 2 one-offs that are in between St. Cloud and Duluth. That one is Barnum and Moose Lake. Those are those 2. So, so I mapped it out because I'm looking for triangles, right? And I kind of have one, I put a little triangle in there. Did I make it? Yes, of course I did, but based on the dots. But then what other things that I put in there? Let me get my glasses on because this little map is
it's small.
It's now small. So the red dots are the sightings. And then I put some green dots. We have 2 nuclear plants in the state of Minnesota, one in Monticello, Minnesota, and one in Prairie,
right?
Prairie Island. Is it?
Prairie Island. Yep.
Yeah. So those are our 2, which are where there's where the Prairie Island one is just outside of the circle, but the Monticello one is right where there's a lot of sightings. And there's been a connection in the past. People have speculated, do nuclear plants have some kind of interest with maybe extraterrestrial? Are they concerned that we're doing something bad to the planets with them? Or are they concerned something's going to happen, leak, whatever? Are they trying to use the energy? Like, I'm rolling out a bunch of stuff here, but I put them in there because I thought it would be interesting. Then I also put in some ammunition facilities. So we've got ammunition facilities that are in there, as well as defense and weapons contractors and strategic security focal points. So we've got a lot of clusters around those things, which I thought, I'm gonna look them up and put them in there, and they may not line up at all with some of these sightings. But it's interesting. South Metro has a lot of defense contractors, and so we've got St. Cloud area south of St. Cloud that has the nuclear plant. We've got the munition facility up by Anoka that we have seen, because we live up in the area that has this cluster that's south of St. Cloud. We see a lot of really military looking black helicopters flying that direction, coming to and from. So we know that there's stuff going on. And Tim has gone over and investigated it before.
Well, there's a base, right? Fort Ripley, right? Which isn't far. It's like north of Little Falls, right?
So I put that one on there. That's the strategic security. So that's up there. So the 2 that got noted when I looked it up was that and Camp Ripley and the port over in Duluth, were some like strategic you know,
Yep.
points in the state.
Yep.
And are there others? Sure, I'm sure there are. But when I'm looking this
Yeah.
stuff up and with the access I have, this is what I'm coming up
and
with.
the airport has military stuff going on there too.
Yes, there is a Air Force facility there. So I just think it's interesting how many clusters are lining up with some of this
These other
possible
things.
fuel and military. So then the other aspect of it is, could it be military, not UFO, like UFO outside of our
Yeah.
galaxy kind of thing?
Yeah.
Could it be military?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because there's a lot of clusters here.
Yes, exactly.
That kind of line up. So I thought it was interesting. And of course, there are reports, I'm sure all over the state. But I thought this was an interesting little snapshot to look at because there was so many of them in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. Like a month.
So I wanted to look.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what's going on. So anyway, that was what I came up with. And
Yeah, it's very cool. I never thought of that, to look for nuclear power plants and all the other, other
well,
things, you know?
I just wanted to look at it because I've seen in shows or reading different articles and things that's something that comes up. So I thought, well, let me look and see if it lines up at all.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Very cool.
I'm curious to see if
Yeah.
anybody has any questions or comments. If they, if not, that's fine too, because what I might be thinking is interesting could be like yawn alert for everybody else. And that's fine
Well, I
too.
never thought of it that way. I mean, for sure. I mean, they could be they could be who knows what. Probably not extraterrestrials looking at our power plants. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but
They could be. Maybe they're hoping we
Yeah.
don't destroy everything.
could be.
It's interesting too, because I was looking up. So I mean, you could go down the rabbit hole of this.
Yeah.
I was looking up if there was any work or changes done around the power plants
When they were sighted.
when they were sited. And I remember a couple years ago, they started having big concerns about water leakage.
Yes, up in Monticello.
In the Monticello one.
Yeah.
And that started around 2024,
Yes,
but
it
who knows
did.
if it was going on before and then they finally broke the news to everybody. I'm sure it wasn't just a surprise in 2024 or whatever.
Mhm.
So that they might have been like, okay, we have to say something,
Yeah.
at some point. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so I was looking and I didn't see a lot of, but it could be something that if it is some kind of extraterrestrial, interaction, I would be, if they're looking at our planet for whatever reason, or they're here, or they're using it for whatever, they don't want us to wreck it,
Right. Oh, we don't want to wreck it either. But I
Well,
feel like there was something
most
with
of
the
us don't.
Prairie Island nuclear plant too. Not too
I
long
agree.
ago.
And I
I
couldn't-
don't remember what. I definitely remember the water thing
mhm.
up at Monticello because
Yeah.
it's really close to our lake property and all this stuff. But yeah, there was something going on down there too. So
Yeah, I know. And I just, I haven't been able to dedicate a ton of time to this, but
yeah.
if someone out there is curious and wants to
Mhm.
do some more digging,
Yeah.
and then join us on the
Do.
show.
Yeah, please do.
We would love to have
Yeah.
you on the show if you have some more insight into this or want to look at it and say, hey, I did some more digging. Here's what I found. And even,
Mhm.
and totally can expand the scope of reports. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be just this little cluster of
no.
October 2024. So,
Yeah.
but I thought interesting. And, Tim and I we sit outside a lot
Mhm.
because we're up in this,
Mhm.
that zone
You're
of
right, yeah.
faint cloud. And so we sit outside a lot and watch the skies, and there is a lot of weird stuff going on.
Well, there's a
We can't, we know what the airplanes look like.
Mm-hmm. You know what the satellites
We know
look
what
like,
satellite behavior looks
and then
like.
there's these other things.
And then there's other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that
Yeah.
goes and then stops and stays in spot.
Yes,
Stuff that
we've
turns
seen that up
90-degree
north, too.
angle.
Yep. Yep.
We've had, there was both Tim and I have done this where we were looking at the Big Dipper independent. We've had two different times. He did one and I did one where we were looking at the Big Dipper and said, if you can put a bright light in the cup,
Mm-hmm.
of the Big Dipper, to let us know you can hear us, that would be great. And so we were sitting outside at the same time when this happened, but he saw it. I was looking another way. Then I did it and I saw it and he was looking another way. So
Oh.
we've had it happen twice where a bright light came into the cup of the Big Dipper when we asked.
Huh.
Within like 10 seconds.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And it's happened twice. So kind of interesting. So then like who is doing that?
I know.
Not an airplane, not a satellite. And what are the odds that it's going to be in the cup of the Big Dipper?
Right. I don't know.
Right.
That's weird.
So it just makes me really curious.
Yeah. Well,
And then
there's,
all these sightings are in the area. I just,
and up north, there's always been a lot of sightings up north.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just way up in Canada, and the skies up there are so clear. And it was kind of cloudy one night, so we didn't get to see a lot. But we've heard stories about UFOs landing in the Big Rainy Lake and coming out, and we've heard stories about them coming into the a river up there, the Rat River. Jerry has seen them coming out of Lake Mobile up in Bemidji. So what is up with that? And Star Lake, which is really close to Cass Lake. I mean, or Star Island. I'm sorry, it's in Cass Lake, but it's kind of weird stuff. All this, underwater stuff too.
yeah. Well, right. But what a, good hiding place is going somewhere that we might have trouble going,
Yeah,
because think of how hard it is to get down to the bottom of Lake Superior
yeah,
because of how cold it is and
Yep.
how deep it is. So what a perfect hiding spot,
Yep.
Or to have an entrance to somewhere, because we can't get there.
Well, yeah, and when we were up there, people were talking about that whole Rainy Lake thing, and I'm just like, it's kind of fascinating, actually.
That's a big lake.
It is a big lake. It's there's a lot of fingers, and it goes kind of in a lot of different places. Beautiful, beautiful,
And not very populated.
No,
So-
it's it's up on them. It's part of it's in Minnesota, but still, it's like way up north on the border.
Right. So I don't know. I think the whole thing is just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious, if anybody out there is watching and has some ideas or can dig more than I can dig,
Yeah,
because I am limited in my understanding of how to dig
yeah.
when it comes to this stuff. But I
And
just used
time.
what I had seen in like different shows and,
Mhm.
learning about extraterrestrial kind of maybe interest or what else could it be, when looking at like the military, could it be the military, things like that. So
Yep.
anyway, but I don't know if our military has something that looks like that video from Anoka, right?
Maybe.
They might,
I mean,
they might not. I don't know, but I think it was interesting because it's not something you see every day.
no.
And that's what I
Or
think
could
is
it be
really
another military from another country?
could be,
spying on us.
could be,
Yeah.
because I don't know. I don't know
That's
what they
I
have.
think. We don't know.
We don't know. So anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I thought it would make kind of an interesting, just to plant some seeds for people to
Yeah.
think about,
Yeah.
especially if you're here with us in Minnesota, that
Yeah.
you might have some thoughts around this, or maybe you've had your own stories. And if
Mhm.
you have had your own stories, maybe we put a show together of people's stories.
Yes.
And
UFOs,
like their own
and,
personal-
we've heard about abductions and, the whole, abduction seems to run in families too, right? And I know Jean, when we had her on, she was saying the same thing, but
Mhm.
I've talked to people up north who'd say, well, they were abducted and then their cousin was abducted. It's like families. It's like the family line.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
So if
Yeah.
you've had an experience, whether it's a visual, you've seen something, or you maybe
Mhm.
have been abducted. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
we'd love to have you on the show.
We
So
would.
we could put a show together with a
We
couple of
could.
folks that have had
Mhm.
experiences. So let us know.
Mhm.
And maybe this will give you something to think about anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're willing to be on the show, let us know. Somehow you can either text us on Facebook or on our YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, if you're watching the show, please subscribe if you haven't already, because, we need more subscribers. So please do that. That's awesome. Or if you know somebody who might want to be on the show, let us know.
Yeah.
All the
Awesome.
above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go. UFOs in Minnesota.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, good job. Good
Thanks.
research.
I tried.
like it. Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. So next week we have Lauren on. She's the owner of that old haunted hospital that I was at last year, and we're hoping that one of the paranormal investigators will come on with us. We were there. We have some stuff, but this woman has been doing a lot. And Lauren is not a paranormal gal. In fact, when I
Right.
asked her about that, she said, "Oh no, I don't do that. I run." So anyway, it'll be a good show. So join us next Wednesday for for that one. And then, thanks so much for watching tonight. And hopefully we put a bunch of interesting, ideas in your head. And if you want to come on the show, let us know. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the troops who are out there who might be watching, and be safe. And we sure appreciate your service.
Absolutely. And everybody in the chat room, thanks for joining us. And wherever you're listening or tuning in, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate Cryptovania TV so much for hosting us. And thank you, Jason Trost, for being our producer. Stepped in tonight, did a bang up job once again.
Yes,
so we totally appreciate you.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you all again next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.